The world is a mess. Pandemics, wars, hunger, and violence cover the globe. This causes many to wonder, is God in control? If God really is in control, how could He let things get into the shape they are in? If God is in control, does He know what He is doing? Does God have the expertise to rightly govern the universe? Can God be trusted to always do what is right? I am Dave Chambers, the pastor of Manistique Bible Church. Questions about God's ability, wisdom, control, and goodness abound. One big question is this: does God make mistakes? God is infinitely holy. That means He never sins. He is incapable of committing evil. He is never malicious. He cannot lie. All His actions are perfect. He is the perfectly holy, sovereign God and judge of the universe. He is loving, merciful, gracious, patient, and good. In Genesis, Abraham says that God is the judge of the whole earth who does right. In Habakkuk, we are told that God is of purer eyes than to behold evil. God is so holy He cannot even look on sin. And because God is holy, He always does what is right. He cannot fail to do right in all things. God is all-knowing. Psalm 147 says His knowledge is infinite. Scripture tells us that God knows all that is, all that will be, and all that could be. He has complete knowledge of every fact of history, every detail of the present, every future event, and every possible outcome of every possible decision. As a result, He knows exactly what will result from every decision He makes. Because there is no limit to His knowledge, God cannot make a mistake because of incorrect or insufficient information. God is all-wise. Romans 11 says, "Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are His judgments, and His ways past finding out." Wisdom is knowledge rightly applied. Those with correct knowledge can still make an error in applying that knowledge to a given situation. God is perfect in wisdom. He will never make an error in the application of His infinite knowledge. His wisdom has no limit, no gaps, and no flaws. He always knows exactly the best response in every circumstance. He always accurately applies His unlimited knowledge to every situation to best accomplish His good and gracious plans. God can never make a mistake because He has complete knowledge and an infinite ability to correctly apply that knowledge to every single situation. Because God is infinite in His knowledge and limitless in His wisdom, He cannot be mistaken through a lack of information. He never miscalculates. Because God is limitless in His wisdom, He does not err through a misunderstanding. Because God is perfect in His holiness, He cannot make a mistake through malice or moral failure. God does not make mistakes. He has never been mistaken once and will never err. If God does not make mistakes, then how come the world is in such a bad shape? Well, Genesis 1 tells us that God created everything perfect. The original creation had no sorrow, no death, no pain, and no trouble. God created all things perfect, including man. And though man was created perfect, humanity rebelled against God. As a result, man and the whole world were punished by God. And this is the curse of sin. Genesis 3, it says, "Cursed is the earth for your sake." So man's sin caused the entire world to fall into suffering. Romans 8 tells us that all creation groans in pain because of the sin of man. The terrible state of the world today is not because God made a mistake, but because man sinned. Humanity's rebellion against God is the cause of every evil in the world today. None dare accuse God of making a mistake. His plans, wisdom, and understanding are so far above ours that we cannot comprehend what He is doing. Much less are we able to evaluate the rightness of God's deeds. We see only a tiny part of the work God is doing in the world. The Bible reveals to us a little more of God's plans, but we really know almost nothing about God's plan. God says to us in Isaiah 55, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." We cannot understand or know God's plans for this world. What we do know is that God is infinite in His holiness, wisdom, and knowledge. He cannot and does not make mistakes. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps you grow in your trust in God. If you have additional questions, you can submit your questions and find answers at everlastingtruths.com or follow us on Facebook for more biblical answers to your questions.